will you get on and share it to the community page?
Yes.
That'll be the easiest. We are here in Martinsville on Harrison Street at WellSpring. There's an event this evening. One of the sleeping rooms here at WellSpring is going to be dedicated to Tim Coryell. The room is filling up, but if you are out and about or you have time to come on over, we'd love to see you here. Should get started in about, 5-10 minutes. You're not on screen. It's okay. Yeah. Get your good side. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Cor. Did you see that me and that Michelle have the same sweatshirt on? Oh my gosh, right? And then you have the same colors. Hey, Kevin. Hey. There's Devin. Hey, Devin. Hey, Caleb. I promise I'll sit down here soon, and we can try to get a good shot of everybody. Right. I don't know where I should sit to get the best seat. Think so? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to scoot over here. Move around a little bit again. Yeah, so you're going very last.
That's what I heard. And then I guess someone's coming up after me.
I'm sorry?
Someone's coming up after me to get the call from the client.
Yeah. Yeah. Kevin, who's Mabel?
I think it's a nickname for Patty. I don't know.
Oh,
I think it's just
Keaton, tell me, who's Mabel? Are one of you Mabel? Oh, Keaton says hi.
Hey, baby. Miss you. Yes, I'm Mabel.
Crazy Mabel. Oh. Where you going, Cooper? It says crab walk. Thank you for joining us this evening. Event should be starting up any minute. What, Corey? Oh. Michelle hates being on camera. I don't know why. Hello, you two. How are you? Good. Oh, you do now. Oh, Kevin. I'm starting. Let me get to my seat.
That's what they told me.
Okay, is that better? Any of you who know me know that IT and me are just going the wrong way. Well, thank you all for coming out tonight. We are so honored to have you here on behalf of myself, our board members, the wonderful staff that are going to be a part of here today. It's really kind of a bittersweet evening for us. We are deeply honored and humbled to be able to do this tonight. But sad that we are doing it, we certainly wish that Tim was still here with us, and so, as I'm sure all of you do. So, we'll keep our remarks brief this evening. I'm going to try not to cry, although my eyes will leak, so just know that. But our first speaker this evening is Barb Howe. Come on up. Barb is the Executive Director of the Morgan County Substance Abuse Council. That Tim was very actively involved with, and I'm going to turn it over to you, Barb.
Good evening, everybody. In 2019, I took over as the Executive Director of the Substance Abuse Council. Within a matter of moments, I started hearing stories. I heard stories of, do you know Tim? And it was either, I love Tim. Tim saved my life because he arrested me 25 times and now I'm in recovery. I also heard other stories of, do you know that dried up. I was reaching out to everyone, kind of telling our story. Tim was one of those people that heard about it. Tim reached out through Porch Time efforts. We did some collaboration. We did some fundraising. They helped us kind of motivate everything. Money started coming back in, and luckily we never had to close our doors. But through that, Tim and I really built a friendship. And during the last couple of years, he volunteered at all of my conferences. He was a guest speaker. He brought inmates from the jail to speak so they could do the testimonies of how him and other people have changed their lives. A couple of days before he passed, we had a conference at Mount Gilead, and normally Tim did speaking at those conferences. I knew he wasn't feeling well, wasn't doing well, so I did not ask him to participate at that conference. However, he came as part of the drug enforcement booth. They were there to kind of have a booth and talk about it, and one of the last things he said to me was he was giving me a hard time because he said, well, nobody likes me. He goes, Barb, nobody else is going to walk with me. He goes, nobody else is going to hold this other sign. He goes, will you please at least walk with me in the parade and help me hold a sign that says like the Sheriff's Department? So I was giving him a hard time, and I was asking how he was really doing. And I could tell he wasn't doing well, but he wasn't going to complain. He wasn't going to say anything about it. And I was like, I knew this was 2 miles, pretty fast parade we were going to go in. And Tim was like, why would I ride in a car? I need to be out there holding this, and we're going to walk, and we're going to do this. And he goes, me and you are going to lead it. He goes, we're going to be the fastest walkers in the group. And that was one of the last conversations. Well, that was the last conversation I had with him. And I never forget that even to the very end, he was passionate about what he did. He was passionate about the community, and he wanted to continue to make a difference. So he was an amazing guy. Missed all the things that he did with us, and truly appreciate it. So next is Hayes County, a fellow member of the Morgan County Sheriff's Department.
I was really hoping to talk on. I want to thank all of you for coming this evening. This is a super important evening for all of us. It's going to be harder than I thought. So, when I was asked to come speak tonight, I was extremely humbled that I would get the opportunity to come and talk about Tim. Tim and I spent several years working together. Most of that time he was in uniform and I was in investigations. And Tim got really close. Tim and I got really close together one afternoon in late December when I was called by the sheriff to come to the conference room for a meeting that I didn't know anything about. And I walk into the conference room and the room is full of people that I don't know, that I can tell a lot of them are from the ATF and different federal agencies and local law enforcement agencies. And Tim's sitting in the corner with this big old grin on his face. And I thought, well, what did you do to me now? Well, that was the beginning of the drug task force for Morgan County. And Tim was very instrumental in starting that task force and driving it to the point that it is now. And it is super successful at this point. And it's just an ideology that we are going to keep alive and we're going to keep working because that's where Tim's heart was. You know, I don't think anyone can measure the amount of impact that Tim had on the community. I've seen him in so many different positions. I've seen him sitting on the ground talking to drug addicts. I've seen him just do so many things and convince people that rehab's the place to be. And some people didn't take his advice and they went on their merry way, and a few weeks later we'd see him again. But he never gave up on those people. And he had a tremendous impact on law enforcement. And I've been in law enforcement 27 years, and I can say that the last 25 years, I've pretty much developed a pretty hard heart when it comes to the things that happen in society. But I was going through some issues a couple of years ago. I was talking to Tim about it, and Tim said, I just want you to understand something. I said, can't hate the addict. You can only hate the drug. And that was such a profound statement that it resonates in me still today. But the dedication of the sleeping room, I don't know how many people know that Tim would take people that were out in the cold and didn't have a place to sleep, and he'd take them to a motel and he'd talk to the clerk. Sometimes they would comp the room and let that person stay. If they didn't, typically $4 in the pocket. So, you know, for this sleeping room to come to life, it embodies Tim. We will continue to embody Tim in the drug enforcement world. And every time that we go out, it's always thinking of Tim. But this room is super special, and I'm very happy and privileged to actually be here this evening for the dedication. So they threw a wrench in on me. I was supposed to introduce the next speaker, but now I'm introducing Dalton Lee.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you guys for coming, and I appreciate it.
And Don, can I just interject?
Yeah,
Hold
go
on.
ahead. Hang on, Dalton. You got some
Through our partnership with Build-A-Bear, we got many more of these teddy bears than we could ever use around WellSpring's, so we're very grateful for them. But so we went to give a dozen of these to Dan for the Sheriff's Department, so they come across kids who've been in an auto accident, having to be removed from DCS, or just a difficult situation. And notice the little tag, it's got the Marion County Sheriff's Office and the little black ribbon across it that says Tim Coryell. So that was going to be something to carry in those cars.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Brian. So now, Dalton, come on up.
My name is Dalton Meats. Those who don't know me, Tim was my father-in-law. I also had the privilege of working with him for a number of years in the Sheriff's Office. If there was one thing in Tim's life that he was passionate about, it was public service. Tim dedicated so much of his life to spreading God's love to others by helping people in need. It would be difficult to name all the good causes that he was involved with in our community. He was always slow to pass judgment on others going through a hard time. I don't know anybody that advocated hard for people experiencing homelessness or those in recovery. Truly cared about the people struggling in our community. I spoke at Tim's funeral on how I believe Tim's legacy will continue to live on, not just through his children, his grandchildren, but also through his actions, good deeds, selflessness, and the love he showed people in need. I believe that the impact of those things will continue to ripple through our community. I think this is a great example of that. I believe you guys are doing in his name today is a perfect example of this. And I know he would be so proud of it. He thought so highly of all of you and the work that you do in our community. It's truly amazing, and may God bless you for stepping out for those who need it. On behalf of Tim's family, I just want to thank the people of WellSpring for helping carry on Tim's legacy and caring for other people. Because that was his number one passion. That's all I got. I'm going to introduce Tim's brother, Kevin. I'm sure everybody knows him.
Alright, I'm going to try to get through this without crying. I've read it a few thousand times. Put my eyes on. Tim lived his life helping others. Every day he would start at the crack of dawn and would go all hours of the night. I spent several nights with him as he worked to improve our community. His professionalism was second to none, and his passion for others went above and beyond. Sometimes good people make bad decisions. Hate the sin, love the sinner, were just a couple of the phrases he would use. Not only did he say those words, he lived them. He was always searching for a way to help individuals fight their demons, and I witnessed this on several occasions. After his passing, my phone was inundated with texts and messages from individuals that simply said, "You know your brother saved my life." Many of these folks I had never met. He worked with WellSpring's, IDT, and many other organizations to find help. He was relentless, and I know his fellow officers would admit that. As Larry Ralph said, Tim had reached his pinnacle of giving, and God called him home. I want to thank WellSpring for this dedication. Tim would be and is honored to receive this. Tim was a husband, a dad, a grandpa, a police officer, and a brother, my brother, and I miss him every day. Again, thank you for the outpouring of love, and thank you, WellSpring. Pastor, I think you're up.
Thank you, Kevin. In some ways, I'm the person that probably shouldn't be here. Tim's pastor wanted to be here and was not able to. And I was privileged and felt honored to be asked to come and just say a few words and offer a prayer of dedication. Tim was passionate about what he did. But I didn't know him like you do. And so I'm really glad to be able to be here and hear the comments of his family members that knew him and worked with him. Because I didn't know he loved God. And I did know that he had the proper view of the things that we face in this community. You gotta hate the sin, but you certainly ought to love the sinner. And because of Tim's passion, involvement in our community, and his desire to impact the life of those in need, I think it's totally appropriate that we would dedicate this room in his honor. Words of Christ himself in Psalm or Matthew 25. Then shall the king say, speaking of himself, then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? When did we see you a stranger and took you in, or naked and clothed you? For when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these of my brethren, you've done it unto me. I'm a pastor, so I do want us to understand that meeting the physical needs of people is absolutely essential. But Tim also did seek to meet the spiritual needs, because that was the passion in the ministry of Christ. Isaiah 61 says, speaking of Christ himself, the Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prisons to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord, and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called the tree of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified, that he might be glorified. I know Tim would be thankful for what you're doing, but he would want really, truly to point to Christ. But the reason I'm reading these verses and saying these things is this right here. They shall build the old waste. They shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair. They shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. My vision for this community and Tim's is that we not just feed people, but we would see them change because they understand who God is, that he loves them, that he has the power to enter into their lives and change them from the inside inside out. So that last statement, repair the desolations of many generations. This room that we're dedicating has the power, the potential of changing the family tree. It's a Dave Ramsey statement, of changing the family tree of people who have found the reality and the desolation of sin. But God has something so much better for them. I'd ask that you join with me as we ask God to put his hand on this room, and that it would indeed be used to change lives in generations to come. Lord, our desire is to honor Tim Coryell by honoring you. He did what you asked all of us to do, to help those in the area of their needs. So it's with that intent that we're dedicating this room today. It's our desire that you will direct us to those who need to see you through our actions and hear about you through our words. Please use this room, use WellSpring and other ministries and organizations that are purposed to reach the desperately needy, that they might know, first of all, you and your love for them, but know it through us who care about them, us who have learned to raise ourselves above the desperate condition of the sinner, so that we can show them the Savior. Father, I pray that as we demonstrate your love to others, that the course of their life, now and for eternity, would be changed. And it's to that end that we're gathered here, to honor Tim, yes, but to honor his God, his Lord, his Savior, Jesus Christ. And so, God, please, in the name of Jesus Christ, would you change this community one life at a time as we learn to honor you. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
As our assistant director, my right hand, Rachel, wherever she just went to, I don't know, gets ready to do just a little ribbon cutting over here. Want to just say a couple of quick thank yous. A room like this doesn't just come together, so we've got a couple of folks to thank. The Morgan County Prosecutor's Office heard that we were doing this, and they said we want to be a part. And so when we open up the room, you're going to see this beautiful artwork and a mirror and a clock that they wanted to have here to recognize Tim's efforts. And then from the drywall, the paint, the mud, the bed, the microwave, everything else that you're going to see in this room, we were able to get using a gifting platform, and the winner eggs are here actually. We thank them. They run an organization called Because One that many nonprofit organizations use. We've been gifted a room, and we can put our kind of our wish list, our needs list on there, and folks all over the place just kind of donate those items. And so all of that has come through the giving platform of Because One. So thank you all for being a part of making this happen. So Rachel, if you and your crew want to come up here, and those of you in the family who want to come and cut the ribbon up here, this is actually the sleeping room right back here. And so she's stopped making her way up here. Come on, Rachel. And Sadie, if you want to help her as well, because we're going to need two people on the end of this ribbon. And Caleb, Kevin, come on up. And come around here just a sec. We'll get this out of the way just to make it a little bit easier. And we do have, we've got several of these naming opportunities kind of around our building. And as we tour groups from churches and civic organizations and the One Man Leadership Academy and others, we stop along the tour and we kind of talk about why this is the Gunnar James Norman Food Pantry or the Ruth Rusey Memorial Library. And so talk about
Aw.
Tim's place with every tour that we give, and so this plaque will dedicate that forever. So if you guys want to cut the ribbon and everybody else can kind of give it a look-see, and then please eat all the food out there so that we don't have to put it all away, because a lot of us right after this event are going to go climb into cardboard boxes and spend the night because it's National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. And this is our bring your own box event. So if you're not doing anything tonight, you can bring your own box and sleep today and come join us on the front lawn. It'll be fun. Okay? That is looking like you're crazy. All right. Thank you all again for coming. As soon as they get this cut, please come by over the room and then eat lots of food and enjoy everything. Thank you again.
Let's see.
I'm gonna go in and take a tour. Walk in the sleeping room. Hi, Cooper. Very nice space to come and get out of the cold or get out of the storm. Place to hang your items. Toiletries. Some dishes. Coffee maker, hand sanitizer, towels. Microwave. Mini fridge. Few dresser drawers. And a lamp clock. It's very nice. One more tour around. This is a new sleeping room at WellSpring for individuals experiencing homelessness that need to get out of the cold weather or storms.
I think you're right.
Timmy.
Let me hold you up so you can see it.
No, good. Sorry. All right, well, that concludes the event tonight. Thank you to everyone who came out tonight or watched online. Timmy meant a lot to a lot of people. Well, if anybody ever has time, come over here to WellSpring on Harrison Street here in Martinsville. And we'd be happy to give you a tour of this facility. I've been on a tour here several times, and it's very nice. It's clean, and it's doing a great service to our community. Come in here and take a tour. Check out Tim's sleeping room, and just continue.
Stop.
I'm trying to stop, Corey.
Stop, you get us all going.
Getting yelled at now. Reach out and help your community. Thank you for joining us.